I want you to think about your morning routine for a second. Maybe you grab a coffee on your way to work. Just a small one. Nothing fancy. Maybe it's $1.50. You barely even notice it. Now imagine doing that every single workday for the next 20 years. Doesn't sound like much, right? I mean, $1.50 is nothing. But what if I told you that tiny habit, something that feels harmless, could quietly erode your financial freedom without you ever realizing it? Most people think financial disaster comes from massive mistakes, losing a job, taking on huge debt, or buying a car you can't afford. But the truth is, it's often the small, almost invisible decisions, the $1 habit that silently steal your money and your future. And today, I want to show you exactly how that happens and why it's so much trickier than you think. Here's the thing. We all get caught in this trap. It's not your fault. The world doesn't teach us how to think about money in terms of decades, only days, weeks, or maybe months. Think about it. You're told to budget or save, but no one ever says, watch the $1 things, they add up faster than you think. And that's because our brains aren't wired to notice small, repeated losses. Evolutionarily, humans respond to big threats, a lion, a storm, but not to a slow leak in the system. So when you spend $1 here, $2 there, it doesn't trigger alarm bells. You barely notice it. Most people assume, I can save later. I'll invest more once I make more money. But what they don't realize is that these micro habits don't just cost you money, they cost you time. And in finance, time is everything. So let's break it down. Let's call this the $1 habit. Every day, you spend a small amount. Maybe it's $1.50 on coffee, $2 on snacks, $1 on an app subscription you never use. Alone, it feels trivial. But over time, it compounds, like a snowball rolling downhill. Let's do some simple math. $2 a day. That's $14 a week, about $60 a month, $720 a year. Seems modest. But here's the kicker. If instead of spending it, you invested that same $2 a day at 7% annual return, compounded over 30 years, you wouldn't just have a few $100s, you'd have over $100,000. Pause for a second. $2 a day could become a six-figure nest egg in the time it takes to raise a child from birth to adulthood. And yet, most people never see it because $2 feels inconsequential. Why does this happen? It's all about micro decisions. Every financial choice you make, big or small, is a vote for the life you want to live. And when you ignore the small ones, those votes quietly go against you. Here's another angle. It's psychological. Humans are wired for instant gratification. That small snack, that coffee, that tiny indulgence, it gives us a hit of dopamine. It feels rewarding now. But the brain is terrible at connecting that tiny reward with the slow erosion of your future wealth. That's why even people who know better still do it. Let me give you a real-life scenario. Imagine someone like you, works 9 to 5, makes okay money, spends $3 every weekday on coffee. Doesn't seem like a problem. But after 20 years, they've spent over $15,000 on coffee alone. And that's just one habit. Now imagine if they had invested that $3 daily instead, at a conservative 7% return. They would have over $50,000 waiting for them. That's the power of tiny, repeated choices. It's slow, it's invisible, but it's relentless. And this doesn't only apply to spending. It works the other way too. Think about small saving habits, putting $1, $5, or $10 into a high-interest account every day. You might think, that won't make a dent. But over decades, it does. It builds not just wealth, but confidence, discipline, and a sense of control over your life. The hard truth is, the $1 habit is sneaky. It doesn't feel dangerous, and it doesn't get talked about because it's invisible to society. Banks don't warn you about it. Friends don't see it, and yet, it quietly decides whether you'll live paycheck to paycheck or whether you'll have a cushion, options, freedom. So how do you fight it? Awareness is the first step. Track the small spending. See where it's going. Question every micro purchase. Do I really need this? And here's the key. Replace mindless spending with tiny intentional investing habits. Make the $1 habit work for you instead of against you. I'll leave you with this. Money isn't just math. It's behavior. It's psychology. And it's decisions, mostly small, repeated ones, that compound into life-changing outcomes. So the next time you reach for that dollar, pause. Think, is this dollar stealing my future or building it? Because over time, these tiny decisions don't stay tiny. They either quietly destroy your financial freedom or quietly build it. And if you start today, even with just $1, you're already ahead of most people who never notice this silent, powerful habit. If you've learned something new from this video, like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you in the next one.